Hello and welcome to another Hero Headcanon Rant. Today we will be talking about the superhero fatigue movie critics seem to always want to rant about. Let me start by pitching a film to you. An old man with a violent history finds that his life is finally starting to come to an end. As he begins his final days, the old man finds a youngster that wants to learn the violent ways, despite the elder's objections. But it seems that a peaceful ending is not in the cards for our violent man as one last challenge arrives. Now, did I just describe the John Wayne film The Shootist, or did I just describe Logan? Oh, okay. Let me try to pitch you another one. This one is purely original. It can either be a romantic movie, or since I tend to like a bit more humor, a rom-com. The only thing that would really change is the ending based on the type of story you want to tell and how likely I am to win an Oscar. But here we go. A young detective, still trying to prove his worth, starts working a burglary case. Several of them, in fact. This young, no-nonsense detective determines that these crimes are being perpetrated by a single master criminal. So our detective that takes things so seriously sets a trap. When he does, he discovers the master criminal to be a beautiful young woman, and our young detective is suddenly struck by her beauty and grace. He must ask himself, will he take her down for his first love of justice, or will he actually let his heart soften and let his feelings win for a change? Now, if I took the same pitch and suddenly replaced the names of the detective and criminal with Batman and Catwoman or Spider-Man and Black Cat, would we still be having a conversation about fatigue from superheroes? Now, let me ask you this. If superheroes are getting played out, have run their course, whatever way you wish to phrase it, then how come there are still comics chronicling their stories? In the now over 80 years since their first inception, superheroes are still around. Granted, there were times when they were more popular and times when they were less popular. But the fact of the matter is, superheroes are still around. And why is that? I personally believe that it is because, like the subject matter from whence they came, comic books, superheroes are not a genre, but a medium unto themselves. They're the first characters that are a medium. Hear me out. Obviously, comics are a medium on which stories can be told, like film, television, radio, insert something else that I can't think of right now. I can pick up a comic about comedy, romance, action, horror, and any other genre you could think of. I can do the same with superheroes themselves. Do I want a hero that tackles political intrigue and maybe add in a dash of mysticism? Wakanda forever. Black Panther? Anyone? Gritty noir-like mystery? I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman! Police procedural or wartime story with sci-fi twist? Beware my power! Green Lantern's light! Teenage comedy? Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. Superheroes are the only place I can think of where multiple types of things can be blended together and make sense. You like magic, swords and sorcery, the Wild West with cool cowboy shooting, just modern day adventuring, and amazing sci-fi starships and stuff. I can literally get all of those things in one book. And these are just a way to view these characters at this time currently. Another reason that superheroes have lasted as long as they have is because they will constantly reinvent themselves. True, some aspect of the character will stay, but as the times change, you will see wildly different versions of the same characters. Adam West's portrayal of the Caped Crusader is completely different than Ben Affleck's version of the Dark Knight, not only in their physicality, but mannerisms and actions. Adam West's Batman would be more lenient on criminals and allow the crooks to surrender, as opposed to Affleck allowing the bad guys to murder themselves and, if they survive, branding them so that they get beat on by criminals in prison. And to be fair, both are fairly faithful to their source material. In the comics, roughly in the late 50s, early 60s, after the creation of the Comics Code, heroes became a little softer and more silly. But in the late 70s to, I would go ahead and stretch it out, to the mid 90s, comics had to prove themselves as an art form. So heroes took on a more violent and gritty nature. And this is where Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns spawns from. Now, me personally, I grew up in a time after this book became popular and had the effect that it needed to prove that comics weren't just kid stuff. And since I also didn't come across the book during my edgelord teen years, we all had at least one, don't deny it. The Dark Knight Returns, at least for me, is just an overly violent mess. Granted, there are aspects and moments in it that are completely amazeballs, and it is still celebrated as one of the greatest Batman stories ever because it washed away the image of the crazy and campy Adam West. But that's what I prefer. I prefer the bright colors and silly tongue-in-cheekiness of it, because for all of my life, because of The Dark Knight Returns, I'm only used to the dark and brooding Batman. So Adam West, with his bright and campy nature, with his old chum and everything, is is new and different to me. So do I think we'll ever really experience a superhero fatigue? Yes and no. Superheroes will always have ups and downs. But unlike other characters and genres, their ability to adapt and transform themselves to set into other story types allow themselves to continue marching on. For Hero Headcanon, this is Josh Redburn, and to fully explain the beautiful insanity that is superheroes, let me tell you this thing I use to explain my own universe. Imagine, if you will, a human-sized raccoon woman having a sword duel with a dragon woman. And no, I don't mean a real aggressive go-getter. No, I mean a literal dragon humanoid. And they are having this sword duel over a werewolf that is a single father and helps fight aliens and monsters by using a giant alien minigun. And they are having this sword duel on a pirate spaceship that is currently crashing towards the planet Earth, while a teen boy in a tight black t-shirt, who primarily talks to ghosts, uses all of his strength to try to stop this pirate ship from crashing, while its mast, that's actually a giant tree, is on fire. Good night, everybody.